life. We're here with the Mighty Orq. Now, before I ask the question about a typical day for you, got to know about the name.
Well, I got to think of a better story because it's really not very interesting. But first of all, I'm going to give away it's a state secret here. Okay, my real name is not Mighty Orq. Okay, I know it's hard to believe.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Orq,
yeah,
they're just
yeah. I made them up. I made it all up.
Jeez. Hey man, if we're going to be in danger, I mean,
it should be okay. It should be okay. I was able to, get clearance.
You seem hesitant. I don't know if we. I mean, is now the time to reveal the true?
My real name is Prince.
Nice.
And
I
no.
thought I saw some interesting shaving.
This is all drawn on, by the way. No, but my first week of high school, my real name is Josh, and so my first week of high school, I'd heard about these guys. They had a band, and I wanted to be in their band, So there was a four-piece band. They already had two guitar players, one of whom was also named Josh, and but he went to a different high school. The three guys that I knew, we all went to the same school. It's a little see how I need to come up with a better story already, But so one day at lunch, like the first week of school or whatever, this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Dude, you look like an orc." And my buddies were like, "Orc," and they were like, "How do you spell it with a Q?" And then so that was it. I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure." I was like 14, and so I was like, "Yeah, all right, fine, whatever." So they started calling me Orc, and it sort of helped distinguish me from their other guitar playing friend Josh. And so that was sort of
wow.
That was the deal, and that just stuck. I mean, here we are,
Nice. And then when did Mighty come in?
I started playing with the Tony Vega band when I was about 18, and I used to be a lot heavier. I used to weigh about 250, and I had this sort of, my beard was longer, and I was big and I sang real deep and and so he started calling me the Mighty Orq, and I was like, "Wow, that's cool. I like that." I was like, "Dude, can you call me that all the time?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, all right." Nice. So that was the Mighty.
Nice.
All
right. Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up in under 5 minutes. Good work. And so now you play a lot around Houston, and I mean, you've played in Europe, right?
Yeah. We do. We do a fair amount of traveling around the South and Europe. We're actually going to Europe in 2 weeks.
Nice.
And just sort of trying to. We're pretty much sort of a do-it-yourself kind of group, and have been doing it for almost 8 years now, and just trying to get rich and famous.
I hear you. So a typical day for you when you're, playing regionally, what's that like for you? What is it?
Man, it's occasionally there's a hangover involved, but it's usually, sort of a lot of administration, stuff, calling clubs or booking agents or mailing posters, emailing people, yada, 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 do that, run around, do band stuff, and then go and play at night, and so that's sort of, that's a pretty standard day,
And do you like that aspect of what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy the more that I do it, and the more that I see like other bands who, maybe have, a bigger machine behind them that really sort of does a lot of stuff. That's neat too. That part of it, because they are free to do the more creative side of music. Like playing and writing songs and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's less of a control. And I'm a little bit of a control freak, and I like to, be able to sort of know what's going on and really feel confident or comfortable in what we're doing, and so to be able to do those sort of administrative things, and regulate how we're presented that's a plus. You know, I like that aspect of it. You know, it's a team effort. I mean, you know, me and Matt Johnson, who plays drums, and Westside Johnny Bryant, who plays bass and keyboards. You know, we sort of share the load. You know, big time, and it's definitely a team effort. But as far as the gigs and the stuff like that, I'm usually the guy sort of on the phone. I'm the phone guy. I'm a phone guy. So
right.
You know.
And what about when it comes to songwriting?
That it's sort of the same. You know, it just varies song to song. You know, I mean, if I have an idea and it's like pretty well formed and it just sort of like pops out, I'm like, hey guys, check this out, and it goes like this. You know, and we're working right now on material for a new album, and so we'll just go in, you know, once or twice a week and sit down and like we'll play through stuff and say, okay, well, what about this part, you know, and we'll just sort of arrange, you know, we'll come up with the parts and arrange it there, or write lyrics, you know, as a group, you know. So it just sort of depends on, you know, what the weather's like outside, or, you know,
right.
Whatever, you know, it just varies.
How would you describe the music that you play?
Man, I hate the term, but blues rock, you know, and I really don't like that, because it really, it's when you hear the term blues rock, you think like Kenny Wayne Shepherd or Stevie Ray Vaughan or you know, something like that, which is, there's nothing wrong. You know, I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, I'm a huge fan, and you know, I mean, he was sort of one of my biggest influences as a kid, you know. But nowadays, that's a little bit cliche, you know, and to be lumped into that category is not always the best professional maneuver, you know. But you know, I came up playing blues, you know, and I'm very much a blues guy deep down in my heart, and so when it just sort of comes out when I play, you know, whatever the song may be, you know, it's going to be a little bit bluesy, you know. I mean, we've got you know, we tend to rock a little bit harder, more toward the rock side of stuff, but the quick one is maybe like, I say this when people ask, you know, because you know, I blues rock, it makes my skin crawl a little bit. But like, it's like ZZ Top meets AC/DC kind of, you know. It's like there's that sort of rock and blues, and there's also the fun kind of good time rock and roll element of it, you know. And then, you know, it's also really funky, and, you know, we try to really just, when we write songs, we're just writing stuff. We're not shooting for anything, you know. It's not like we're going for this, you know, or we're going to try to make a John Mayer record, you know, or something like that, you know, like what's hot, okay, John Mayer, you know, let's do that, or whatever, you know. So we just sort of, but it ends up kind of sounding like blues a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's great.